Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to do this very beautiful sunrise. This is over the landing in Ipswich, which we painted last week with a boat on the left side. You know, very beautiful sunrise here. All right, we're going to start with a wash over the whole painting, basically, except for the sun and the reflection of the sun. So we use ultramarine and cad red here. Mix it up till you get a nice substance here. Beautiful color. Okay, all right, we're going to wash this down all the way to the base, just painting around both the sun and the reflection of the sun down in the water. Forget everything else, you know, when you do this. You just want to make sure that you get this and you get it right. Spray it a little bit so it doesn't dry up on you. Get this whole thing in. And now what we're going to do, if you look at the paint, if you look at the photo, you'll see that the sky is very gray, you know, and we just want that reflection. So first we want to get the yellow in around the sun. So this is, I'm using Windsor yellow here, and you want to leave a core of white in the center. And all I'm looking to do here is to make sure I erase those lines where the gray and the yellow meet. You want that to be totally soft. And now I'm going to go in and wash all the gray, pretty much the whole thing. And as I add this light yellow to that gray, it's going to turn a beautiful, warm, bright gray, and just wash it right down. Okay, just keep it going. Let it all come down. Don't get nervous. You know, a lot of people get anxious. This is where you separate, you know, the men from the boys here. Sorry, ladies. But this is where you as a painter, you realize that once, you know, especially watercolor, you know, people get anxious because once you start pushing that water around, it has a life of its own and it takes off, and you don't have the control. You know, we're all control freaks and we want to hold on to that. We don't have the control once the water takes off. All right, we're going to paint those clouds in underneath the sun. And I'm just going to start with the same violet here. That's ultramarine with some cad red. And I'm going to add some cobalt blue to it here. That'll just soften it a little bit, and maybe a touch of the raw sienna. But it looks a little dark, but don't let that bother you. You know what they say in watercolor, right? If it looks right, it's wrong. So it's going to dry so much lighter, and you have to be aware of that. So. All right, so I put it in, I'm touching it up with some water here, really, really a lot of water. Soften those edges, bring it right across, soften the edges, there you go. Okay, soft up there, nice soft edges, and now what we want to do is sort of enclose the sun with a little bit of the violet, all that beautiful gray we left, that yellowish gray in the sky. We want to cover some of that right here. I added some water to that violet that I made the clouds with, and I'm just going to bring those sides in and sort of enclose that sun. You know, as you make it darker around the sun's going to look brighter, and that's what we want. Okay, just bring that right down. All right, we're going to pick up the water here, the reflection of the trees in the water. I'm using the violet, and I'm painting the edge of the ice there. Okay, this is where the trees are going to reflect into that. But first we want to get that violet color into the water, into the shape of the water. Okay. Putting a little harder edge on it. a little darker and let it, it's all wet, so it's going to come down, give you some beautiful soft edges. And I'm adding a tiny bit of rose here, so it's a little more violet, bringing that right down to our reflection and the ice. Over here I'm adding just pure yellow. It's very wet, a lot of water, just a tint of yellow. The yellow is going to mix with the violet and give us this beautiful, beautiful, clean, grayish tone. It's a grayish violet with the yellow. It's beautiful, and that's all going to be the reflection of the water. And as you come down towards the bottom, there's some ice. All right, we're going to go back and paint these trees, those very dark trees. So we're going to mix up some real dark. This is ultramarine and quin sienna, and that'll give you a pure black if you want it, but we want it a little bit more towards the blue, okay, as we mix it up. So we'll add it a little, and over here we're going to go back and put it into our up against the ice section there. And these are the trees above, so don't let that throw you off, but we're painting the reflection of the trees, so we're painting the reflection first. So when we paint the trees, we're going to pay attention to where the reflection is. All right, don't let it throw you. It's very simple. It's just an easy way to get this done. All right, so the trees to the right here are a little larger, and it comes right up into the ice and actually meets that large rock that's iconic as far as the landing in Ipswich goes. Everybody in Ipswich knows that beautiful rock. All right. Nice dark reflection. That's going to dry lighter, so you really want to load it up with color. So there's the rock, and the rock has some ice on the top of it. So you want to paint around that ice. And there's the bottom of the rock. It's a big, huge rock. And it's a fun rock to paint. There's so much going on with it. It's a very beautiful color. But, you know, in the summer, you can see flowers growing on it and everything. It's really something. All right, there's the pieces of ice and snow on the top of the rock. I'm going to leave that. And then it goes all the way over to the right where there's smaller rocks up against it. All right, so we just paint around all that stuff. And that big rock now, it's sitting, kind of sitting on the ice and snow. All right, we're going to go in and paint that line of trees. This beautiful, beautiful row of spruce trees, I guess they are, evergreens. And there's some smaller ones on the left, and I'm going to paint them very black, ultramarine and quin sienna. I'm painting it towards the blue, so I'm pushing the ultramarine. So on the left side, you have the smaller trees, smaller group of trees, and then right under the sun, they seem to get larger. So I like to use a flat brush. I use the side of the brush and go up and down, as you can see, and that gives you a sense of trees, you know. I will go back and create some growth on the top of those trees to show the silhouettes against the sun there, but anyway, we'll start there. I'll speed it up a little bit because, all right, so I'm just working, but you can see right in there, I added just water underneath the sun, little yellow water, to give you the sense that the light is hitting the tops of those trees, and it gives you a little sense of how bright that sun is. All right, so we'll go across there and just hit the tops. Now beneath that line of trees, there's a shadow on the water there, and you can see the line of grass above our iconic rock there. So I'm just taking some raw sienna, mixing it with the black here, and it's a very dark, grassy yellow look, and it's really nice. All right, on the other side we have another rock, and we have a broken an ice where the water is coming through the ice. We're just using the same black that we've been using. There's the big rock, and then there's a bunch of smaller rocks. We'll paint those. And there's also some of that raw sienna grass on top of it. All right, in front of the iconic rock, there's it's ice, it looks like a shadow. It's darker than the rest of the ice where the snow is hitting, so I'm putting a little shadow on it, just a little blue-violet, and then you can see I added a little yellow as it comes forward into that violet, so it has a nice gray look to it. All right, I'm going in now with a small brush and just picking out, there's a bunch of small cracks in the ice and just pieces where the water is coming through all the way, all around. So you want to take a small brush and make sure the whole painting is dry at this point, and we're just going to go in and make those small indications of how the water is breaking through the ice, especially along the edge here. Okay, yeah, over in the shadow where the trees are casting the shadow. Take your time with this. This is a small, they're small, but it's important. And then there's a deeper shadow here. This is actually the shadow of the trees on the left. I wet it first with a little violet, and now I'm adding that black, and so that you get these nice soft edges coming down. And there's some more cracks and crevices in the ice here where the water is coming through. Little spots of dark. They're significant, and they look great, they really look great. A little bit of a circular crack here. All right, okay, that's pretty much it. We have a boulder on the left, which is really nice because it does balance, gives us some balance here, and that works out really beautifully. So there's a big boulder with some smaller rocks that are sticking out of the ice and water there, and so we're putting that in, and then we'll put a little bit of shadow underneath that as well. Just a little bit of, it's casting a little bit of shadow here on the ice, and that sits them down nicely. All right, so that looks good. There you can see that beautiful violet reflection in the water. Really, it's really nice, and I want to watch that. All right, I'm adding there's a few trees in the background, just bare. There's certainly nothing growing on them, so just adding a little bit. All right, so that's the finished painting. I want to thank you for joining us. This is really a fun time to paint with the snow and ice. Thank you, and I will see you again very soon.